Alright, today's lesson is going to be Jerusalem Ridge. This is a great Bill Monroe / Kenny Baker tune. It's really fun to play on the fiddle. So it can be a little bit tricky if you're at a jam and you're not that comfortable with it. It has 4 different parts and it has kind of some extra beats in there or extra half measures. So I'm just going to try to do my best to explain how to think about that and go through the melody, the chords, and some ideas for more double stops and improv, just some random ideas that I have. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first I'm going to play the melody of the first part, or we can think of it as the A part. This is in A minor, and the melody sounds like this, and this is 8 bars and would be repeated. Something like that. There's lots of variations on the melody, like you could also play an F instead of a G here, so like, or, so either one. I've heard both. There's a lot of room for variation in the order of the notes in this part as well. But that's the basic melody. The chords are just A minor and E. So A minor for 3 bars. So da 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 da. That's where you switch to the E. Da 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 da. Then back to A minor. Da 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 da. Just a quick E at the end there. Back to A minor. So mostly A minor. Now I'm going to talk, I think I'm going to go through section by section instead of doing the whole melody at once. Maybe this will be easier, I don't know. So some ideas for improv in this part. You can add some double stops. That's an A one you can add. So that was just a 1-1 on A and D strings, sliding down to open. I'm doing it twice with a little accent. And slurring each 3. So you could also do so it's a little bit different rhythm. So 2 slides up. And back to that. Another little double stop I like to do there is these are 4ths. So it sounds like this. I like to slide down. That's another little thing you can do there. So we're sliding on the minor 3rd or minor 5th. And I'm getting a little close to the bridge to get that ponticello sound, which is fun. That's a Michael Cleveland lick, or one I stole from a video of him. So to get ideas, you should listen as much as possible to all the different recordings of a tune. Definitely check out Michael Cleveland's if you have not yet. His gives me a lot of ideas. It's really fun. So, and then also practice with a backing track. That's probably the best thing you can do. You can also add a lot of triplets in this part. And you can start on a different note instead of, what if you started, something like that. So mess around with the order of the notes, add some triplets in there, some double stops, and then, you know, this scale, so it's, if you think of the minor A minor pentatonic, but then also adding in that E flat, so the flat 5. So those E flats sliding to an E make it sound bluesier, and you can vary up your break with that. So mess around with that, and then try it in the upper octave as well, and try, like, you know, going between the 2 octaves and transitioning. So here's what the upper octave sounds like. Something like that. So that's another idea. I like to do something like that, like with a G sharp over the E chord. Some kind of triplety thing. But you could also go. Yeah, going down is better. And that could get you back to the lower octave. So, like. So that's just an idea. So that chord was this 5th with C sharp and G sharp. Second finger on E and A. So those are just some ideas. Now let's go on to the B part. So the basic melody sounds like this. And the chords are very similar to the first section. The only difference is the E in the middle is quicker and shorter. So starting on A minor. That's where the E is, and then back to A minor. But there's that quick E at the end. So those are the chords, not much to the chords. But now let's see what we can do to make it a little more interesting when we play the melody. So you want to definitely want to try doing this drone 4th finger thing. So when you're playing that A, play open A as well. Same with the E 4th finger. And you can slide into it. And I'm doing these ups because I think Kenny Baker did these up bows. But that's up to you, whatever bowing you want to try. But I think he did play them pretty short, not like. But. So you can also, like I just did, do some like syncopated, so instead of some syncopated stuff. it is. And then after that, I'm just doing a pentatonic-y blues, random notes down. So that's third finger C, and then E flat. So I'm just kind of alternating using E flat or E natural, changing it up. But I really like that lick. Another thing you could do is some different double stops. So like, instead of the drone A, what if you did fourth finger and then second finger? This is a little bit trickier. So, and then I like this G sharp on the E string. So it's 4 on A and 2 on E. So, that's some more options for double stops that you could use. Let's see. I already said the thing about the triplet. Just adding a bunch of triplets. Oh yeah, another thing you could do. I think I heard this one on maybe a Tony Rice recording. Something like that. That's not exactly how it goes, but that. Or, I don't know, just something to change it up a little bit there. Now we have come to the slightly weird part. This is kind of a bridge. You could think of it as a bridge or transition-y thing, or you could think of it as the C part. So we've done the A, B, now we're on the C part. The weird thing about it is there is a beat of rest right before it starts. So if I come from the part before it, rest. That's a little pickup. That's the downbeat. This is a pickup note. So let me do that one more time. Rest. So you could think of it as an extra half bar, or just think if you're counting like this, da 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 ba da da da. So there's one click, and then you go triplet bomb. I would practice it maybe without the triplet first if you want, just to get so da 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 bum ba da da da, and then you could add the pickup back in there. So so this part, yeah, let me just play it all the way through. So remember, this is a pickup. And that's the whole part. That's not repeated. So just remember that. It does, that phrase happens twice, but it is slightly different the second time. So the chords here are A minor, D minor, and then E, and then landing on an A minor, and then that repeats. And you could also do that walk down, C, D, A, but always that E on the D string, keeping that on there. So interesting thing about this part is also that over the D minor chord, I feel like I've heard some people play D major there, whether they're playing the chord or maybe just in the melody throwing in some F sharps. So that is an option. I don't really know. Yeah, it's just kind of whatever you feel like. So when you're coming up with your break, you just keep that in mind. You can play either F naturals or F sharps there. So double stops, the A minor, D, and then, but you could also do up the octave. Yeah, you could do F sharp there. And then here I like to do this, I stole this from Michael Cleveland, I'm pretty sure. Just taking all his licks and playing them worse. But this is a arpeggio thing, so, and then the second time you do the A minor chord, so it's just an arpeggio thing. So A minor starting on C in third position, and I'm shifting down during the open string. And then D major arpeggio, I just think sounds cooler. And then something like that. I really like that one. Which sounds cool. You could also do an arpeggio going up, so slowly that's the A minor, now the D, and then so those are some ideas for that part. You could also change up the rhythm. Some just kind of stuff like that. But yeah, that's the middle bridge part. Now we've come to the last section. You could think of it as the D part. So here's the melody for this last section, or the D part. And I'm going to be playing it in second position. So this is, if you're not familiar with the second position yet, this is a good little tune to try it on. So that just means, so instead of having your 1 where your normally goes, you would put it where your 2 normally goes. So instead of here, it'd be here. So that's second position. I'm going to be starting on third finger on the A string and sliding into it to make it easier. So second position, definitely. It's just easier to reach everything and reach that C. So definitely try second position for that. Now this part, the chords are A minor for 2 bars, and then C for 2 bars, then back to A minor, that's a quick E, and back to A minor, and then this part is A, E, so just that quick E there at the end. So those are the chords. Now I'm going to talk about, oh yeah, the extra beat. So this one has an extra beat at the end. So before you would repeat, or before you would go back to the beginning, since this section is repeated. So if I do that ending part, rest. So just think 1 click. Or if you were doing it the second time and going back to the beginning, it would be rest. So that is the weird part. So there's the extra beat here, and then there's that extra beat in the C part that we already talked about. So those are the two main weird parts. So some stuff that I like to do in this part, adding that C. It's another reason to do second position. Can have that double stop. So 1-1. You could also, instead of going, you could change the rhythm there. So that's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's one idea. You do a little shuffle thing there. So. That's where I usually go back to first position. Over that one part, you could also do, if you're feeling adventurous. So those are really quick. So in context. Same thing, you can add those E flats. You could also do this part down the octaves, so. That's another thing, and you could do that. So, that rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is a good one to have under your belt. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to start. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you have a request, give me an idea for the next video lesson, or just something you want to hear. And thanks for watching.